Did you know, in Rome, there was a secret police that lived among the common people in disguise and used to disappear those who spoke against the emperor? Did you know that a secret tunnel from inside a library led directly to a brothel so that people could do something else under the pretext of reading? What did Roman women put on their faces to look beautiful? Crocodile dung and toxic lead. The fresh blood of a gladiator was considered a cure for disease. One emperor became so mad that he changed the name of the entire Rome. And during that same era, China's capital was burned down. By taking taxes on the Silk Road, one empire was swimming in gold. This is the reality of the 2nd century, which is not shown in movies. If you think history is boring, then the next few minutes will blow your mind. Get ready. These are the most dangerous, weird, and mind-blowing facts from mystery numbers 26 to 50 of 2nd century history, which you would have never heard before. Let's learn that dark and strange truth of history, which is not found in books. Let's begin with fact. Mystery number 26. Rome's secret police, the Frumentarii. Emperor Hadrian felt that he should spy on everyone. He transformed the officials responsible for grain supply, the Frumentarii, into a secret service, secret police. These people lived among common citizens in disguise, read people's letters, and made those who spoke against the emperor disappear. This was one of the first secret police forces in history. Mystery number 27, the library's secret path. Library of Celsus, secret. Built in Ephesus, the Library of Celsus is one of the most beautiful buildings of the 2nd century. It used to hold 12,000 scrolls. There is a famous rumor or legend that a secret tunnel led from inside the library directly to the brothel across the street. This allowed men to tell their families, "I am going to study," while actually heading somewhere else. Mystery number 38. Pants were banned. Pants were barbarian. Even in the 2nd century, Romans wore togas or tunics. They considered wearing pants or trousers as an act of barbarism because their enemies, Germans and Persians, wore them. If someone walked the streets of Rome wearing jeans or pants, people would mock them as uncivilized. Romans believed that wearing pants diminished one's manliness, virility. Mystery number 39, Gladiator blood tonic, drinking blood for epilepsy. We mentioned this in the 1st century, but this cure was at its peak in the 2nd century. Patients with epilepsy would stand in the arena and drink the warm blood flowing from the throat of a freshly killed gladiator using cups. Some doctors even advised removing and eating the gladiator's liver. They believed a warrior's strength resided in his blood and liver, which would help defeat the disease. Mystery number 30, Junagadh Rock Inscription, 150 AD. In Gujarat, the Shaka king Rudradaman had an inscription carved on a rock. This is the first long inscription in Indian history written in Sanskrit language. This inscription is about the repair of a lake, Sudarshana Lake. It describes how a dam broke due to heavy rain, and the king repaired it using his own money without imposing taxes on the public. An ideal king. Mystery number 32, breaking the cake over the head. Breaking the cake. In Roman weddings, there was a ritual where a barley loaf or cake was broken over the bride's head. This was for good luck and fertility. Guests would frantically scramble for the crumbs that fell on the ground because they were considered auspicious. This ritual evolved over time to become today's tradition of cutting the wedding cake. Mystery number 32, the world's first taximeter, Roman taximeter. Roman engineers created a system for hired carriages, chariots. A gear connected to the chariot wheel would drop a pebble into a metal bowl every 400 meters. At the end of the journey, the passenger and the driver would count the pebbles in the bowl, and the fare, tax, was paid accordingly. Tampering with the meter was a crime even back then. Mystery number 33, Faustina's lovers.
There was much gossip in Rome regarding Empress Faustina, the wife of Marcus Aurelius. It was said she had affairs with sailors and gladiators. According to one story, when Faustina fell in love with a gladiator, the gladiator was killed as a cure, and Faustina was made to drink his blood or bathe in it to rid her of the obsession. After that, she conceived with her husband, and Commodus, the son, was born. Mystery number 34, persecution at Lyon, 177 AD. In the city of Lyon, France, a mob turned violent against Christians. They captured Christians and threw them before wild animals in the arena. A slave girl named Blandina was thrown before bulls and lions, but according to legend, the animals did not eat her. Finally, she was enclosed in a net and tossed before a wild bull. Her endurance made her one of the greatest martyrs in Christian history. Mystery number 35, toilet paper in China. While Romans were using sponges, Chinese records from the 2nd century mentioned the use of paper for cleaning for the first time. However, this was not for everyone. It was only for the imperial family. Later, a scholar wrote, "I do not use papers for toilet purposes on which great thoughts are written." Mystery number 36, collapsing Roman apartments. Insula collapses. Poor people in Rome lived in 6 to 7-story high buildings called insula, made of wood and mud bricks. They were so weak that collapsing or catching fire was a daily occurrence. One of the wealthiest Romans, Crassus, had his own fire brigade. When someone's building caught fire, he would offer to buy it. If the owner refused, he wouldn't let his men extinguish the fire. The building would burn down, and he would buy the land for cheap. A real estate shark. Mystery number 37, the first African emperor, Septimius Severus, 193 AD. At the end of the 2nd century, Septimius Severus became the emperor of Rome. He was born in Africa, modern-day Libya, and spoke broken Latin. He made his hometown, Leptis Magna, as grand as Rome. This proves that in the Roman Empire, citizenship mattered more than race. Mystery number 38, burning of magic books. When St. Paul and his later disciples preached in Ephesus, many sorcerers burned their magic books, scrolls, in the center of the city. According to the Bible, Acts 19 verse 19, the value of those burned books was equal to 50,000 silver coins. By the standards of that time, this was a loss worth millions.
Mystery number 39, the Kushan Silk Road Tax, the middlemen. The Kushan Empire of India captured the section of the Silk Road that connected China and Rome. They neither manufactured nor bought the silk. They simply collected a tax for passing through. This toll tax made the Kushans so wealthy that they issued pure gold coins, which were even purer than Roman coins. Mystery number 40. Divorce was easy. In the 2nd century Rome, getting a divorce was very easy. Either the husband or the wife could simply say so. There was no need for a court or judge, just the intention was enough. A father could even force his daughter to divorce if he found a better son-in-law. Mystery number 41, the unibrow trend. Today, women separate their eyebrows, but in the 2nd century Rome, a joined eyebrow, unibrow, was considered a sign of beauty. It was understood as a symbol of intelligence. Women whose eyebrows were not naturally joined would stick goat hair to their foreheads using tree resin or create fake eyebrows using soot, kajal. Mystery number 42, crocodile dung facial. Roman women applied a paste of crocodile dung to keep their skin fair and young. It was mixed with water and applied to the face. Even doctors like Galen recommended it. They believed it removed skin blemishes. Disclaimer, do not try this at home. Mystery number 43, Barbagal water wheels, a massive industrial complex.
A massive industrial complex from the 2nd century has been found in France, Arles. Here, 16 water wheels were arranged one below the other on a hill slope. This was the largest factory of the ancient world. It could grind 4.5 tons of flour every day, feeding 10,000 people. Romans possessed the technology for mass production. Mystery number 44. Buddha or Apollo. Greek Buddha. In the 2nd century, Buddhist art was at its peak in the Gandhara region of India. The faces of Buddha statues made here look like the Greek god Apollo, and they wear clothes like the Roman toga. This was a blend of the Greek influence remaining after Alexander's invasion and Indian culture. It is called Indo-Greek art. The world's most beautiful Buddha statues belong to this era. Mystery number 45. Commodus renames Rome. Emperor Commodus's madness increased so much that he changed the name of the city of Rome to Colonia Commodiana, Commodus's colony, after himself. He even changed the names of the months. Removing August, September, October, he gave his 12 names to the months. Immediately after his death, the old names were restored. Mystery number 46. The burning of Luoyang in 190 AD. During the fall of the Han Dynasty, the cruel general Dong Zhuo captured the capital, Luoyang. When he had to flee, he set the entire city on fire. This city was one of the largest in the world at that time. Royal libraries, palaces, and temples continued to burn for weeks. This was one of the greatest cultural tragedies in Chinese history. Mystery number 47. Lead makeup, toxic whitening. Roman women preferred pale skin because tan skin meant you were a poor person working in the fields. To look fair, they applied white lead powder. This lead slowly corroded their skin and led them toward madness or death. The price of beauty was death. Mystery number 48. Lucian's Flying Man. The satirist Lucian wrote a story in which a man flies to the moon wearing the wings of an eagle and a vulture. Lucian clearly wrote in his book, "Everything I am writing is a lie." Even so, people believed his stories to be true. He was the ancestor of fake news and comedy. Mystery number 50. Testudo Formation, the tortoise. The most famous strategy of the Roman army was testudo, or the tortoise. Soldiers would join their shields over their heads, creating a solid roof. This roof was so strong that a chariot could be driven over it. Enemies would rain stones or arrows from above, but the Romans would keep moving forward slowly and safely, like a tortoise. Mystery number 51. Gnosticism. In the 2nd century, a different form of Christianity spread, called Gnosticism. They believed that this world was not created by the real God, but a weak or evil deity, demiurge. They believed that Jesus Christ possessed secret knowledge, which he gave only to a few specific people. The church later declared them heretics and burned their books, which were found again in 1945.